Our conversation, Democratic Congressman Jim Himes of Connecticut. He's a member of the Intelligence Committee. David Plouffe is still along. Congressman, I want to just get you on the record on the two new developments today. One, this blow to the constitutionality argument that 45 Republican senators used to hide under, frankly, to take a pass on whether or not to hold Donald Trump accountable. Do you think it cracks open any minds, or do you think it simply illuminates the shallowness of their position?
Well, the position's sort of absurd on the face of it, right? But because, the idea that a president has this period at the end of his or her term, and maybe that period is 4 weeks or maybe it's 2 months, depending on how long an impeachment and a trial take, that in which that president enjoys complete impunity for his or her actions is, of course, absurd on the face of it, and quite apart from the historical precedent where people have been impeached and convicted after they left office. So understand what's happening here. There's not a Republican senator who wants to grapple with the facts of this case because it's pretty damning stuff. So instead, they're going to cling to a process argument, trusting that they can throw enough sand in the gears so that even though lots of fancy lawyers are saying that it's absurd, their constitutionalist argument, that they can create just enough doubt in the minds of people who aren't maybe watching this 24/7 to not have to grapple with the facts and the president's behavior.
The public sentiment on this is, I believe, in a different place than it was 1 year ago. You've got 56% of Americans who believe that Donald Trump should be convicted and barred from running for office again. What do you think the role of public opinion will play from this point forward, where it's not so much that events will be unpredictable, but it's unpredictable how the public will process what they see laid out as evidence in this week's trial?
Yeah, I actually think that's the key question. I had a different perspective than your last bunch of guests. First of all, the probability that 17 Republican senators are going to convict here is pretty low. But I nonetheless believe that Donald Trump will meet accountability. Maybe it'll be at the hands of the authorities of the state of Georgia or the authorities in New York. What I'm really focused on is the very significant number of Americans, a significant majority of the Republican Party, who continue to believe the lie that the election was stolen from Donald Trump.
Yeah.
A significant majority of Donald Trump supporters who are actually open to insane theories around QAnon, and Democrats are drinking the blood of kidnapped children. To me, that's the key. You ask about public opinion. One of the things I hope this trial does, and one of the things that I hope we all do in the coming months and maybe even years, is just show how completely absurd and fantastical those beliefs are. Because those beliefs, of course, without those willingness to believe an obvious lie, Donald Trump is not nearly the threat that he is when he can get people to believe truly insane lies. And so I think changing public opinion is the job of the next couple of years.
Hey, Congressman, it's David Plouffe. A question for you, particularly if there's not full accountability for Trump's role in the insurrection. How concerned are you about, when you look at the congressional elections of 22 and the next presidential election, that there are going to be Republicans out there who maybe they don't organize a siege on the Capitol, but they try and follow this playbook? And basically, if they lose a close election, they say it was stolen, refuse to concede, and try and find some way to overturn the will of the people.
I'm very concerned, David. That's in a sense what I was just alluding to. And let's face it, regardless of what happens, Donald Trump is not going to get the accountability that he deserves. A man who over 4 years in office, at every moment, including when he was with Vladimir Putin, including when he was talking to the Ukrainian president, and I could go on and on and on, chose his self-interest over the health and well-being of the country over which he presides. There is no accountability short of the man spending the rest of his life in jail that would be proportionate to what he did over his 4 years. And so, David, you ask exactly the right question. What scares me more than whether Donald Trump ultimately meets the accountability he deserves is the fact that there are other Donald Trump wannabes out there. I'm thinking Senator Josh Hawley. I'm thinking Senator Ted Cruz, who are a hell of a lot smarter, a lot less clown-like, and understand the gears and levers of government an awful lot more than Donald Trump did. And now they know that there is this burbling fuel out there, and they're going to be better at using that fuel in an authoritarian way than Donald Trump ever was, which is why I come back to the point I just made about how important it is for Americans to see that down that path lies tragedy.
Well, let me push on this open door a little further. We had Michael Grimbaum on the last hour, who's covering the $2.7 billion lawsuits by the voting technology companies who were smeared along with the big lie that Donald Trump really programmed into people. A lot of, as you said, millions of people believe the big lie. Millions of people believe that there was fraud, even though I think 60 to 70, 80 courts found that there was none. Bill Barr said there was none. What do you do to sort of, not deprogram, that's the wrong word, but to combat the big lie that is still taken at face value by millions of Americans?
I've got two answers to that question, Nicole. First, I'm delighted to see these voting machine companies really taking it to people like Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, and of course, Fox News. They care about their wallets. And if the world learns that when you lie on television and you can be impoverished through a defamation suit, that will change an awful lot of actors' behavior. But Nicole, I have a better answer, and that's my second answer, which is I am actually looking forward to moving on beyond impeachment and talking about Donald Trump, because I think we're on the verge of delivering very substantial aid and real competence to the American people. We're seeing the vaccination rates go up pretty dramatically. We are seeing a couple of weeks, hopefully, before we can deliver very real aid to the American people. And to me, trusting as I do in the fundamental pragmatism of Americans, look, these folks have been told, these folks that attack the Capitol, and there are many, many supporters out there, that when Joe Biden is elected, communism and socialism will come to America. Vice President Harris will soon be president, and we will be drinking the blood of kidnapped. I mean, it just is just bizarre. So if instead of the apocalypse that they have been promised, we actually deliver real economic aid, real economic growth, real competence.
And vaccine.
Look, there are going to be people on the extreme always, but an awful lot of people are going to say, whoa, wait a minute. We were promised the apocalypse, and I just got a $1,600 check. Explain that to me.
And a vaccine in my, workplace my restaurant is open again. I can go back to work. No, you're right. Getting beyond this, getting through it to get beyond it is the name of the game. Congressman Jim Himes, thank you so much for spending some time.